We'll deliver it to your curbside at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Open daily from 9 to 4:30 on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. The same blooming place since 1952.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA. Ocala.
And you're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. That's what we're going to do now. A little bit of news bits here on AM Ocala Live, just to get things rolling for you here. Just a little bit within the community and a little bit to touch on. So you're listening to AM Ocala Live. Now 20 minutes before the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Rolling through this Thursday as we just got done talking with Galen Life South Community Blood Centers. Get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood from our proud sponsors, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center and Penn Flooring, as we said. And to move on with a little bit of news bits here, it says... well, for starters, as far as the idea of back to school, 1 in 5 teachers are unlikely to return to reopen classrooms this fall. A poll says most Americans expect schools to reopen this fall, but a stunning number of teachers and students may not be there. In an exclusive USA Today poll, they say 1 in 5 teachers say they are unlikely to go back to school if their classroom reopens this fall. A potential massive wave of resignations. While most teachers report working more than usual, nearly two-thirds say they haven't been able to properly do their jobs in the educational system unpended by the coronavirus. A separate poll of parents with at least one child in the grades of K through 12 finds that 6 in 10 say they would be likely to pursue at-home learning options instead of sending their children back this fall. Nearly a third of parents, 30%, say they are very likely to send them do that. The COVID-19 pandemic has, it's recast education in the United States, prompting almost every district to send their students home and hastily adopt so-called distance learning to close out the school year, and that's how it is now ending. And we've talked a lot about that with our own community, with Marion County Public Schools, and just everything they've had to go through. As we talked about it more so, not only just having on, at the time, Superintendent Dr. Heidi Mayer and Kevin Christian actually in here in the studio to talk about it and the adaptations that they did, but we were also discussing with Lena Williams on Mondays when the news comes through about some of the other stuff that Marion County Public Schools do. It's been a tumultuous time for them. So in the idea of students home and hastily adopting those distance learning to close out the school year, those disruptions are guaranteed to reverberate into the new school year and beyond, especially for teachers who have been thrust into new roles that most say they weren't well trained to fill. The survey underscore how concerns about the coronavirus will complicate efforts to resume daily routines in American life, from work to leisure to commerce, at least until a vaccine is widely available. Now, saying here, quote, I'm on a committee with my district talking about what ifs, because we don't have answers to what's going on, says J.W. White, 47, middle school teacher in Fort Worth, Texas, who among them was surveyed. The challenges in the past few months have sometimes been way too overwhelming, the language arts teacher said in a follow-up interview, saying, I feel disconnected from my students, and I feel that they feel the same way, and I feel like they are falling behind, which is a big concern amongst parents. To explore the views of teachers and parents, they conducted a parallel online poll. This was from May 18th to the 21st. In one, 505 teachers of kindergarten through high school were surveyed. The other national survey polled 403 parents of K through 12. The credibility intervals akin of major or margin of error plus or minus 5% points. The survey for teachers, 5.6. The survey parents, the school-age children. And it says almost all of them, 83%, say they're having a harder time doing their job right now. And 2/3 say that they have had to work way more than usual. The 2/3 also say they haven't been able to do their job properly since starting to do teaching remotely, a task that most say they hadn't been prepared well to do by the district. Now, the newest teachers, those who have been in the job for 5 years or less, struggled the most with distance teaching, saying 6 in 10 said that they had been trained well for the task. The oldest students had the most difficulty dealing with technology among teachers 55 or older. 1 in 4 said that it hasn't been easy for them to use the technology required. Parents recognize how hard teachers are working, as 7 in 10 say teachers are working harder than ever, and we appreciate it. So 3/4 of teachers saying having to rely on distance learning is making their students, what they assume, be falling behind in their classwork. Although most also predict that they will eventually be able to make up lost ground by a sweeping margin 6-1. Teachers say that they are worried about their students right now. Half of teachers are very, quote, very, very worried. Parents are also worried about their children, of course, but at lower levels by less than 2-1. Parents are much less likely than teachers to say that their children are falling behind. 46% of parents say that compared. 46% of the parents say that their children are likely to fall behind, as compared to 76 of the teachers. So a significant share of parents and teachers, about 4 in 10, oppose returning to the classroom before there's a coronavirus vaccine. And I don't know about that altogether, but the day isn't close as far as the vaccine is. The most optimistic predictions say a vaccine might be developed by the end of the year. The less optimistic ones say it may take into next year or even longer. So there's got to be a search for solutions. Roughly 2/3 of teachers and of parents support the idea of returning to the classroom for 2 or 3 days a week and using distance learning other days. Well, if you're just going to go back for 2 or 3 days, just go back for all days. Now, about 2/3 of both groups also endorse having teachers consider at a high risk for illness continue to teach online, while teachers at low risk teach in person. So an interesting conversation that's getting started, because one of the big topics finishing the school year is, what does that mean for the next school year? We've talked a little bit that here on the show about what that could mean, what things are being talked about getting into. Now, we discussed a little bit yesterday with higher education from the College of Central Florida, as we had those girls on talking a little bit about the opportunities that they have had presented with some of the classes and credits to adapt to the situation at hand and what they've done with online learning. And that's at the collegiate level, which is already kind of exemplified or stressed how online classes are implemented a certain way and how they handle that. But for younger students, when you think about younger kids, they say K through 12, but think about those kids in elementary school and then making their way to middle school. So it's very interesting, and it's got the conversation going, so much so it's even being talked about within our opportunities here amongst that. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit here with our interview with Joel Marion for his little book, Always Eat After 7 p.m. We'll be back right after this. WOCA Ocala.
WOCA.
A humid day today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high getting up to 88. For tonight, becoming partly cloudy.